I'm not sure I've seen a dumber admission on national television.
I was elected to help lead this nation. So the first thing we did, open the House up. The bills, you now get to see them before you ever vote on them. And now we're cutting. And you know what? I'm going to make some people uncomfortable by doing that, but I'm not going to give up on the American people. And this isn't the end. This doesn't solve all the problems. This is the first step. I'm going to announce a commission coming forward from the Speaker, from bipartisan on both sides of the aisle. We only got to look at 11% of the budget to find these cuts. We have to look at the entire budget. The Congress has done this before.
Why didn't you see the whole budget?
Because the president walled off all the others. The majority driver of the budget is mandatory spending. It's Medicare, Social Security, interest on the debt. So you only have 11% to look at this budget. But we were able to increase our defense to protect us, take care of our veterans. But you know that non-defense with veterans out, we are now going to spend less than we spent in 2022. That's a major victory.
Oh, nothing. Just the Republican Speaker of the House completely screwing his own party ahead of the election by admitting on national television that the only reason that Social Security and Medicare weren't on the chopping block was because Joe Biden, quote, walled them off during budget negotiations. Let me put this another way. If it wasn't for Joe Biden, Kevin McCarthy would have cut Social Security and Medicare as part of his hostage-taking to lift the debt ceiling. If you're a senior and you employ those programs, if you have loved ones who rely on Social Security or Medicare to survive, or if you simply understand that we've paid into those programs for our entire lives and those benefits belong to us, then just know that Kevin McCarthy and Republicans tried to take them away and that Joe Biden and the Democrats protected them. And that's not me guessing. That is straight from Kevin McCarthy's lips on national television. And what's incredible is that Democrats have been telling everyone this all along. It got to the point where Joe Biden had to call Republicans out during his State of the Union speech, and my God, the pearl clutching that ensued when Republicans were accused of trying to cut earned benefits.
Some of my Republican friends want to take the economy hostage. I get it, unless I agree to their economic plans. All of you at home should know what those plans are. Instead of making the wealthy pay their fair share, some Republicans want Medicare and Social Security to sunset. I'm not saying it's a majority. Let me give you, anybody who doubts it, contact my office. I'll give you a copy. I'll give you a copy of the proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote. Well, I'm glad to see you. No, I tell you, I enjoy conversion. You know, it means if Congress doesn't keep the programs the way they are, they'd go away. Other Republicans say, I'm not saying it's a majority of you. I don't even think it's even a significant, but it's being proposed by individuals. I'm not politely not naming them, but it's being proposed by some of you. Look, folks, the idea is that we're not going to be moved into being threatened to default on the debt if we don't respond.
The boos and the jeers and the cries of liar. And then not 5 minutes later, here we've got the very leader of that party announcing to the world that had it not been for Joe Biden walling off those programs, McCarthy would have put them on the chopping block the very first chance he got. In fact, you can even see McCarthy himself shaking his head when Joe Biden dares accuse Republicans of wanting to cut earned benefits.
Proposal. That means Congress doesn't vote.
Only for that same guy to now announce to the world that he wants to go after earned benefits. So yeah, I wonder if all those Republicans who had meltdowns during the State of the Union will be coming out to issue public apologies for doubting what Biden was saying. Something tells me it'll be a whole lot of silence from the fainting spell caucus. And let's be clear, it's not just Kevin McCarthy who's dropped all pretense as of late. Here are other Republicans who've come out and admitted that their actual intention is to cut earned benefits that you've spent your entire lives paying into.
So that would potentially sunset programs like Medicare, Medicaid, and Social Security.
Let's talk about Medicare.
But Senator, hang on.
John.
So it's not a Democratic talking point. It's in the plan.
Entitlements ever be on your plate?
At some point they will be. That's actually the easiest of all things, if you look.
We should try to look at entitlements, look at restructuring Medicare.
What they need to be doing is looking at entitlements. Look at Social Security. Look at Medicaid. Look at Medicare.
Turning Medicare into a voucher system.
It's a really good start.
Our entitlement programs, there's no doubt that we have to wrestle this beast to the ground.
What's going on with the debt?
It's very disturbing, and it's driven by the three big entitlement programs that are very popular: Medicare, Social Security, and Medicaid. Hopefully, at some point here, we'll get serious about this.
I'm here right now
to tell you one thing that you probably haven't ever heard from a politician. It will be my objective to phase out Social Security, to pull it up by the roots and get rid of it. Tell me if you're willing to cut spending for Social Security.
I think everything has to be on the table.
So you are willing to cut money?
I think it's absolutely imperative.
What about Medicare?
I think it's absolutely imperative, whether it's Social Security, Medicare, or Medicaid.
So yeah, in case there was any doubt whatsoever about what Republicans will do, all you have to do is listen to them, because they're not even trying to hide it. But here's what's most amusing about all of this: the extent to which Kevin McCarthy has a long history of being so bad at this. Just to set the stage here, back in 2015, John Boehner was retiring and McCarthy was the heir apparent to the Republican speakership. And then he went on national TV and he said this.
Everybody thought Hillary Clinton was unbeatable, right? But we put together a Benghazi special committee, a select committee. What are her numbers today? Her numbers are dropping. Why? Because she's untrustable. But no one would have known any of that had happened had we not fought and made that happen.
Admitted on national TV that the point of the Benghazi Select Committee, which Republicans have dined off of for years while portraying Hillary Clinton as the root of all evil in the world, was established solely to sink Hillary Clinton's poll numbers. And to be clear, Republicans weren't upset that they did that. They were upset that McCarthy was stupid enough to say it out loud. And so as a result, the speakership fell to Paul Ryan instead, leaving McCarthy in an almost decade-long limbo, which brings us to today, where by some miracle McCarthy finally managed to become speaker, except now all of his ranking competence is on full display. So yeah, now you know what Republicans were trying to avoid back in 2015. With that said, the silver lining of Kevin McCarthy's incompetence as a politician is that it makes it that much easier for the rest of us to see what their intentions are, to see the ease with which they will switch positions the moment they believe the spotlight is off of them. These people stand for nothing, no principles, no values, nothing. They claim to want to protect earned benefits one moment and then vow to cut them the next. Just like they claim to stand for family values one moment and then line up behind the guy who had affairs with porn stars while his wife was at home pregnant. They claim to stand for fiscal responsibility one moment and then run up a $7.8 trillion debt the next. They claim to stand for states' rights one moment and then sign on to the Texas lawsuit seeking to invalidate the 2020 election results the next. They claim to be pro-police one moment and then vote against money to fund police departments in the American Rescue Plan the next. They claim to be pro-military one moment and then vote against the PACT Act the next. I mean, hell, these people don't even have a platform because they wanted to make sure that they could blindly line up behind whatever fleeting thought fell out of Trump's face. So if you think Republicans are going to protect Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid just because they said they would one time, I think it might be time to be just a tad more discerning. So Kevin McCarthy might have promised to, quote, make some people uncomfortable, but the only people who should be uncomfortable are House Republicans as we head into 2024, who will now have to answer for the fact that if their party remains in power, they will move to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. Again, this isn't me lobbing out baseless accusations, it is Kevin McCarthy admitting as much on live television. When Republicans tell you who they are, believe them.